Om Gyantimirandhasya Gyananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavanscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Mancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tadalaye Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Adbhaktaya Namo Namaha Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yatkripātamaham Vande Shri Guru Dinatarinam Param Anandamadhavam Shri Chaitanya Ishwaram Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prishaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namini Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschata Deshatarini Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Thank you, dear worshipable devotees, for taking out your valuable time to read, study, understand and apply Bhagavad Gita. So, as you know, we do these on Saturday mornings. Last Saturday we couldn't have because we had some other engagements and services. And today is actually Christmas in US, and actually most part of the globe they celebrate in some form or the other. Just to understand the true spirit of Christmas, Prabhupada mentioned, and I shared this quote earlier today, that these Christmas holidays, which how they began was to remember the sacrifice or the noble personality of Jesus Christ, the Son of God, who appeared. But nowadays, Christmas has just become the kind of a time to exchange gifts, spend a lot of money, eat a lot of food, which mostly includes non-vegetarian items, alcohol, etc. In most parts of the world. And thus the spirit of sacrifice of the great Acharya, as Prabhupada said, even Jesus Christ is our Guru, is practically lost. But what could be a better way to celebrate Christmas than to read the instructions of God? That is Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita, Kinchidadhita, Ganga, Jalalav Kanika Pita, Sakradeva Murari Samarcha, Na Create Yamina Charcha. So this is the essence of the condensed essence. Sarva Upanishado Gavo Dogda Gopala Nandana. All the scriptures are considered like a cow. And the essence of the cow is the milk. And who is churd? Who is the Gwalaba or the milkman? Is the Dogda Gopala Nandana. Krishna is the milkman who is milking this milk, or in short, he is giving that nectar of Bhagavad Gita through his lotus mouth, through the medium of calf, who is Arjuna. Partha Vatsa Sudhir Bhoktam. And all the people all the intelligent people like all of you. So dhira, one who has good intelligence. Dhi means intelligence, so means good. So all of you certainly have great intelligence, who are eager for the message of Bhagavad Gita. Otherwise, what is a holiday for most people? Just sit, relax, wake up late, eat, then again sleep, and then again go for some club or drinking or smoking or whatnot, and just spend the time, waste the time in short. Durlabha manusho deho, dehinam shanbhangura. Life is so uncertain, but so many people uh, may not be able to take the full advantage of this precious human form of life. But intelligent people know how to take advantage is by engaging to make the holiday a holy day. So thank you again for your wonderful time. I see Akant Prabhu, Anita Mataji, Pooja Mataji, Rashmi Mataji. Thank you. Shilpa Mataji, and one more Prabhu and Mataji is also there, which Sampada Mataji. So thank you again. So we will start, but just since we didn't have Kirtan, we'll maybe chant a few verses. Paranukatanam pavanam bhagavato yasha mitho rathi mitho tishti nivritta mitha atmanah satam prasange mama virya samvido grinanti hritkarna rasayana katha tajoshanadapavarga vartamani shraddha ratir bhaktir anukramishati. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishnaya Vasudevaya, Devaki Nandanaya Cha, Nanda Gopa Kumaraya, Govindaya, Namo Namaha. Namo Akinchana Vittaya, Nivritta Gunavrittaye. Atmaramaya Shantaya Kevalye Pataye Namaha. Hare Krishna. So we will begin our reading of Bhagavad Gita. We completed the chapter 8 last time. For those who are joining regularly, we had 41 sessions. So over 40 weeks plus, we have been reading this in all of yours wonderful association. I'm sure we'll continue to read many, many more weeks till the last breath of our lives. In chapter 8, or Bhagavad Gita is like a sandwich. In the sandwich, the middle part is the most important part, right? Often the great devotees compare it to a ring, right? If one has a ring, it's a diamond ring. The diamond is surrounded by the gold or the silver or some other precious metal. The diamond is in the middle. Similarly, the first 6 chapters and the last 6 chapters are like that covering, which are also important. But the middle 6 chapters, which is chapter number 7 to chapter number 12, talk about the Bhakti Yoga, which is the essence of Bhagavad Gita. Now, within the middle 6 chapters, there is another covering. And that covering is the first 2, the middle 2, and the last 2. The first 2 referring to 7 and 8, middle 2 referring to 9 and 10, and the last 2 referring to 11 and 12. So the 9th and 10th chapter are very, very important. That doesn't mean others are not important, but they are really, really important because they are the essence of Bhagavad Gita. They are the essence of what Krishna wants to convey, and therefore Krishna has nicely packed it securely in the middle, right? So with that as the background, we will start reading today's Bhagavad Gita. So would someone like to read the first verse? Yes, Sampada, Mataji, want to read?
Yes, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha idam tu te guyatamam pravakshami anasuyave jnanam vijnana sahitam yach Gyatva mokshase subhat. Translation: the Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "My dear Arjuna, because you are never envious of me, I shall impart to you this most confidential knowledge and realization, knowing which you shall be relieved of the miseries of material existence." Hare Krishna, Babaji, back to you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So, such a beautiful words to begin with. Chapter 7 of Bhagavad Gita and chapter 9 of Bhagavad Gita have a lot of parallels in there. Chapter 7 also, if you remember, it begins with the same note. But now I'm going to tell you very important knowledge. So if we go here, this nicely explains. So chapter 2 to 6 are in the matter of matter and spirit. Basically, who am I? I'm the body or I'm the soul. Okay, I'm the spirit soul. I'm not the body. Then 7 and 8 talk a little bit about bhakti. So they are Guhyatara, like good, better, best. So Guhya, Guhyatara, and Guhyatama. So this knowledge which Krishna is going to share in chapter 9 is the most confidential, because it not only talks about bhakti, it talks about Kevala bhakti or Ananya bhakti or unalloyed bhakti. How to render bhakti in a practical way, which we are all looking for. Because sometimes in the material world, someone may get the knowledge of the body and the soul, right? Oh, I'm not matter, I'm anti-matter, I'm the spirit soul. What that means, okay, and that may be the best level of their knowledge or understanding. And they say, okay, so I'm anti-matter, so let me not do anything connected to matter. Give up family, give up job, give up everything, give up home, give up everything, and go to a forest, which many people do. Not many, very, very tiny fraction, those who are in the Gyanis and other kind of Ashtanga yogis. But this is not the fullest level of understanding. Real understanding is how, okay, I'm the spirit soul. How can I engage myself in the activities of that spirit soul? Like, for example, we eat food. We eat food for body or the soul. When we eat something, let's say apple, banana, roti, sabji, we eat for body or we eat for the soul? Anyone? Let's share your thoughts. What does it nourish? It nourishes the body, it nourishes the soul.
Body pro.
Yeah, it nourishes the body. Krishna Prasad, of course, nourishes the soul as well, but in general, we can say it nourishes the body, right? But we are not the body, we are not matter, we are the spirit soul. So an intelligent person would question, okay, am I really nourishing myself? Am I really nourishing my externals, which is the body? So intelligent person tries to understand that what is the real nourishment for the spirit soul. Let's go to the purport again to hear, because there are a lot of wonderful points in this purport. Okay, the Lord understands the mentality and the sincerity of a particular living entity who is engaged in Krishna consciousness and gives him intelligence to understand the science of Krishna consciousness in the association of devotees. Very, very important. So such discussion which we are having now, or we have in the association of devotees, is very, very important. That is the real formula or the immunity for the material world. When we come together and talk about the Harikatha, Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam, that's very, very important for bhakti. The ABCD of bhakti begins with A of association. Lord is encouraging Arjuna to by giving higher knowledge. Guhya Tamam, the most Guhya. The fifth chapter is titled The Most Confidential Knowledge. Pravakshyami, I'm going to speak to whom? Anusuyava. Anusuyava, the word is also very, very important here. Why? Because knowledge cannot be received when we are envious. Right? Everyone agrees to that? What do you think? Can we receive knowledge from someone whom we are envious of? No. If we are envious of someone, then we'll only see bad in others or bad in that person. So one should not be envious of anyone, especially one's superiors, teachers, parents, who are genuine well-wishers, the Supreme Lord, Anusuyava. Because if we are envious, we're thinking I'm better than this teacher, I know more than him or her. So how can the knowledge really flow? Knowledge flows from, or anything flows from high potential to low potential, right? Tadvidi pranipatena pariprashnina sevaya. It does not, like water does not go uh, upstream by itself unless some force is required. Any ball will also go down the hill. Similarly, the knowledge or anything goes, when the when we have genuine eagerness to receive, and that basically is humility, gratitude, eagerness, and that's totally opposite from envious. So if we are envious, we cannot receive the the, the spiritual knowledge. This reminds me of a story, which someone shared with me way back. It's clicking in my mind now. When Ravana was about to be about, he was almost dead. He was already shot by Lord Ram, but his some prana was still going on, just like kind of on the deathbed, taking his final few breaths. And then Lord Ram said to Lakshman, "Go and ask." Ravana was a great teacher, very learned. Go and ask for some knowledge, for some lessons. And Lakshmana went to Ravana and say, hey, proud Ravana, teach me something. And Ravana didn't give any lesson. And Lakshmana came back to him, to Ram, said, hey, he's so proud, he doesn't want to give any lessons. Then Lord Ram told him that you take a humble position and appreciate his knowledge, take a lower position, which then Lakshmana did, and then Ram gave him wonderful lessons. So the point here is, again, we cannot receive if the glass is too full, or like full. If one thinks I know everything, one thinks I know what is Gita, I know. Many people we see book distribution other times. Yes, we ask Gita. No, I know Gita. Oh, my family has Gita. I know what's in Gita. I know everything in Gita. Why we have this, we don't know. The glass is too full, right? When the glass is too full, there's no capacity or there's no room to absorb further. So, in short, one should be humble. One should always take a lower position when we have to receive knowledge, and to any form of knowledge, especially spiritual knowledge, because material knowledge one can still get, because material knowledge is about matter. But spiritual knowledge comes not through academic learning. Material knowledge, one may get a lot of scholarship and accomplishments and this and that, and still be proud. But in spiritual knowledge, the pride pride comes before the fall. Spiritual knowledge or spiritual maturity, spiritual growth has no room for pride. Envy has no vacancy. Envy. There's no vacancy in it. And the Bhagavatam also says, Nirmatsaranam Satam. Nirmatsara. Again, no envy. No room for being envious of others. So again, we'll read a little bit more purport here. So Krishna is mentioning about idam jnanam, this knowledge, referring to the knowledge of devotional service or bhakti yoga, kevala bhakti. See, this is the most secret of all knowledge, but very few want to open the secret, right? This is an open secret, but no one has time to open the secret because people are just busy opening Xbox and iPhone. Christmas. Okay, give me gift. Because the whole culture is of sense gratification. What will give pleasure to my senses? So, and kids demand that, or the kids demand the gifts what they feel like. Adults may also buy like real cars, new this, new that, new home, new iPhone, thinking that, keeping up with the Jones, or just the whole world is basically behind that. So there is no one, very, very few souls who have time to focus on hearing, chanting, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, praying, obeying, maintaining friendship, surrendering everything. These are the 9 elements of bhakti as per Prahlad Maharaj. This is real Krishna consciousness. So one whose heart is clear with the mental contamination. And that's the beginning of bhakti. So in short, hearing is very, very important. Again, it's emphasized here. And Krishna is going to reveal the most confidential of all knowledge. Therefore, the acronym for this chapter is King, and the K stands for the King of all knowledge. King is the Raja, and it's a great segue for the next verse. But one line before that, for one who understands Krishna, the Supreme, the pure, transcendental personality, these chapters will be very beneficial. Very, very important point. A lot of people have envy towards God. Prabhupada mentioned the one who thinks Krishna is an ordinary person, then Gita will have no meaning to them. Because if you think Krishna is just like me, Krishna is person. I write book, he wrote book. What's the big deal? I write. So this is nonsense. One who understands Krishna as Supreme Lord, then these chapters will have the benefit. Because then we will have that. This is not knowledge from any Tom, Dick, and Harry. This is not some mundane book. This is not some mundane literature we are reading. These are the words of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So one should certainly not criticize, offend, or be envious towards the Lord or his devotees. Then only we'll be able to assimilate that message. We may get some learning verses or some theoretical knowledge we may get, even if one is not so pious. But the real application will happen. The humility, the character, the gratitude will only come when one has non-envy and sincerity of purpose. So let's go to the next one. Text 2. Anyone wants to read this text, please? Yes, Anita Mataji, please.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Rajvidya Rajguhyam Pavitram Idam Uttamam Pratyaksha Vagmanam Dharmayam Susukham Kritam Avayam. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada ki jai. This knowledge is the king of education, the most sacred of all secrets. It is the purest knowledge, and because it gives direct perception of the self by realization, it is the perfection of religion. It is everlasting, and it is joyfully performed. Hare Krishna.
Vipul, thank you so much. The first 3 verses talk about the king, and the king of all knowledge is this knowledge. The K of king, Rajavidya. So there are 8 characteristics of this knowledge, which is nicely mentioned in this table. Rajavidya. Rajavidya, Raja means king, right? Vidya means knowledge. So Rajavidya means the king of all the education or king of all knowledge. Guhyam, Guhya is secret or confidential. This is the most confident, the king of all confidential knowledge Krishna is revealing to all of us and sharing. But then someone can ask, why is it confidential if it's available for all? Isn't it? Like we all have some confidential things, right? Like our password for maybe internet banking, right? We all have those things. like our some email address, password. Do we share it openly on, do we distribute on the streets like we distribute Bhagavad Gita, right? Do we say, hey, please take this most confidential thing? Do we distribute to everyone on the roads? Or so for material confidential things, we keep them very secured, right? We keep them as secured as possible. And there's still criminals trying to hack it, and internet crime and cyber crime and all that. And there's a whole department of cybersecurity and everything. So there is a password required, right? You want to decode that. There is a strong password. The more the confidential knowledge in material world, the secret, the more secure, or the more secure it has to be, right? Do you agree with that? The more, the better, the stronger the password or the system to protect it. Now one may ask, this is the most confidential of all knowledge, as Krishna is saying, Rajavidya, Rajaguyam, what is the password? There should not be a password. To uncover it. Any guesses on what's the password? Any thoughts? I'd like to try. Rashmi Mataji, what do you think? Is there a password to unveil this knowledge, or should there be? I can't hear you. You're on mute. If you could unmute, it would be great. Can you unmute? Can you hear me?
Okay, unmute.
Yeah.
Jai Shri Krishna Prabhuji. I think we should just chant Hare Krishna's Maha Mantra. That's what I do. All the time I do that. I'm happy, not happy. I'm struggling to finish some work or not. I just chant Hare Krishna's name. I start my day and end my day. Say Hare Krishna's Maha Mantra. That's it. I think that works for me, for sure.
Wonderful. So you know the password.
That is my password.
That's excellent. That's excellent. So we learned of one password in the previous verse, isn't it? And what was that? Anusuyava, one who is non-envious, right? To those only this knowledge is revealed, and one we will also discuss in the following verse. Shraddha.
Shraddha, yeah.
Faith. Without faith, as we read in the last line also, if one thinks Krishna as an ordinary person, right, then there's no benefit of this knowledge. This knowledge will only be beneficial one who understands Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. If you remember, we read that here just now. You just read this, right? For one who understands, basically one who has faith in the Supreme Lord and his instructions. So little faith is required. It's not blind faith. It's not blind faith. It can be perceived, and that's what we will come to here also. So Rajavidya, Rajaguyam, we discussed that. Pavitram, Pavitra means pure or purest of all. This knowledge is very, very pure. It purifies the whole world. If the whole world takes to the Bhagavad Gita and lives by the principles of Bhagavad Gita, all the problems will be gone. There will be no more kuntas because the world will become Vaikuntha. Uttamam, Uttam is topmost, is transcendental. It's free from the material modes of goodness, passion, ignorance. Pratyaksha vagamam dhanyam. If you remember, this is a very important word, pratyaksha. Anyone knows the word pratyaksha? There are three types of attaining knowledge: pratyaksha, anuman, and shabda. Right? Anyone remembers that? Okay, we'll do a quick revision. So anuman is guesswork, right? I can guess tomorrow it will rain. Maybe, maybe not. Is it the best way of attaining knowledge? Guess. Tomorrow, I think the world will end. If I just keep blabbering like this, very soon you'll start throwing rotten tomatoes on my face. That what is the what is your talks are senseless, right? You're just talking like, I think this will happen, I think that will happen, I think tomorrow this will happen, I think day after this will. This is a worst form of attaining knowledge, right? You won't want to send your kids to the school for the person who just is guessing and giving knowledge, right? Is it? Or anyone wants to go to that college where they give knowledge just by guessing? Anyone? No one wants to go there. So this is anuman. Anuman means to estimate, to guess, guesstimate. Then is pratyaksha. Pratyaksha means seeing is believing, just by our own self, right? We see, we feel that, but our senses are limited. We have cheating propensities. There are tendency to be illusion, like mirage. So many other things are there. Optical illusions. Seeing is not believing. We can't hear. Our ears have a range. Eyes have a range. We can't hear dog whistle, right? The dogs can hear that. They have a different spectrum of hearing or seeing. Saying the eagles can see from miles away. Can we see? So that's not the best way. And the most important source and the best source of attaining knowledge is Shabda, the Supreme Lord's words and the words of his pure devotee, who are basically pure messengers of the words of the God, or Shabda Praman, the knowledge from the scriptures. Bhagavad Gita, the words don't change. The words of pure devotees don't change. The is absolute. The material knowledge, the books keep changing. Rev 1, Rev 2, Rev 5, Rev 29. All these researches, even with this COVID. Hey, some say, oh, this is going to happen. They said this is very deadly. Yes, this is very contagious. Oh, the vaccine is good. Oh, the vaccine can't help. Oh, this is going to. Every day some new information is coming, and every day something new speculation is coming, because the knowledge derived from the tools, from the so-called senses, is also imperfect. Anyways, not coming to that point, but the point here is this knowledge can be perceived by oneself. For example, if you are very, very hungry, anyone has gone through that experience? Anytime, not today. Anytime you're very, very hungry, and then you get a nice plate of prasadam, and then you eat it. You honor that prasad. Then does your friend or mother or father or sister, do they ask for a certificate? Oh, Sampada Mataji, now you write on a certificate that you are satisfied. Right? Do they ask for a certificate? It is perceptible, right? You feel it yourself that yes, I was very hungry before and I had a good meal and now I am very satisfied. Pratyaksha dharmyam. You feel it. Similarly, maybe one or two of you can share. Have any one of you felt perceptible difference in your life after coming to Krishna consciousness? You feel that difference. Like when a hungry person or a thirsty person takes a full glass of water or juice, you feel that difference yourself, right? So maybe one or two of you can share that how Bhagavad Gita has impacted your life, or how the teachings of Bhagavad Gita have impacted your life, and not just to honestly and genuinely what you feel. Some of you have been practicing for a few months, some few years, and some few decades. I would love to hear maybe one or two of you sharing perceptible differences or how you feel it. Anyone? Don't feel shy.
I feel very happy. I look forward to, sleeping early on Friday night and waking up, getting ready. So I'm ready to listen to Sri Bhagavad Gita on Saturday mornings. And also every evening, 7 to 8, we hear Sri Bhagavatam on Zoom from ISKCON Temple in Toronto. That is also equally beautiful. So all these things are making me very coming more and more close to Lord Krishna. Yeah.
That is excellent. Absolutely. Thank you for sharing your experience. Thank you.
Thank you.
So glad to hear that. Anyone else wants to share any perceptible changes in your life? Like how Mataji felt she's feeling so good. Yes, Kant Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhu. One of the, I mean, and one noticeable change is that I have seen my lifestyle, Prabhu. Before, I think just mentioned before, holidays, like you just spend your time by waking up late and not doing anything, um, just eating, and then going out if required, as just sit on your couch and watch TV. But as we are hearing all these scriptures and kind of taking part in all the devotional activities, one noticeable change which I noticed for myself is part of bhakti is it's enjoying the life and life as in the nature, and cultivate your habits through that, like getting up early, doing some devotional activities in the morning, um, and 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 that kind of spreads the positive within your family, and especially when a father or a mother does it, that impacts the child as well. So that's one of the noticeable change that I have seen, Prabhu, in the, like, at least I wouldn't say years, but at least from the last 6 to 8 months, when I'm keep doing that, um, that is helping me. I don't know whether my kids have it or are noticing anything, but I'm as a small bud coming out of a seedling, I'm kind of seeing that positive change coming out, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you for sharing. This is excellent. And certainly it has an impact on the child. It may not be so perceptible now when they are too young, but it is leaving an impact or an impression on them. As Prabhupada also said, that Prabhupada would, and then he would share his childhood pastimes or memories with his father, that he would wake up when his father would start ringing the temple bells. He would wake up with the sound of the conch and things like that. So knowingly, unknowingly, it is leaving a very strong spiritual impact on their consciousness. So rest be assured that it is certainly having an impact. With young kids, it may not be so directly perceivable, but it is not going in vain. Hmm. It's not just helping you, it's helping your whole family and the whole environment. Thank you. So yeah, I think the point is very clear, and I'm sure we all have like tons of experiences where we can feel that how bhakti is helping us in every aspect of life, right? Therefore, it is said as pratyaksha. It can be perceived. It's not blind faith. A lot of people say, "Hi, why I should put blind faith?" No, it is very perceivable. For example, someone says, "Hey, why don't you?" Let's say we're suffering for something, and then someone gives a recommendation. Why don't you try this, Mr. X doctor? He is very good with, let's say, stomach problem, which I'm going through. So just for example, and then I put little faith. Okay, I try Mr. Doctor so and so, and I feel the difference. That will strengthen my faith. Similarly, we're not pushing Gita on anyone's throat or in anyone's, we genuinely request them, please try with an open mind this message of Bhagavad Gita. Feel it yourself. Feel it yourself. There's no harm in trying. It doesn't take millions of dollars or rupees to try to live by the teachings of Bhagavad Gita. Try for a few months. Try, right? Try to chant the holy name. Try to read 1 or 2 verses a day. Try to come in the association of devotees. There's nothing but only positives. And if you like it, you can continue. And if you don't like it, there is no harm in trying. Everyone tries millions of things and they end up wasting so much time and money, energy. But trying a spiritual life is certainly a very nice thing. And anyone who has sincerely tried, has only received amazing results. So pratyaksha is the fifth attribute. Dharmyam is the perfection of religion. It is not adharma. One can try drinking alcohol, one can try smoking, but that's adharma, right? And that takes, one's time, energy, money, consciousness, ruins one. But Bhagavad Gita is pavitram. It uplifts, it uttamam, topmost, makes beyond these three worlds. Susukham, susukham, kartum abhyam. Bhakti is very, very joyful. So we should always keep bhakti joyful. And based on the age groups, this bhakti should be joyful process. It should not be forced. No one forced me to do bhakti. Inspiration is different from forcing, but bhakti cannot be forced, should not be forced. We can inspire others by our own example, by sometimes words, but no one likes to be forced. No one likes to be said, hey, do this, otherwise you'll get this punishment, do this. That's not really bhakti. They may even do for 1 or 2 days, but later then they may stop. Especially for kids, especially for new people, we have to see how can we make it a joyful process. Bhakti does not necessarily mean chanting Hare Krishna rounds. And that's certainly one of the main attributes of bhakti. But for kids, it could be, playing Krishna games. It could be playing those pastimes. There's a book called Krishna Krida. All the pastimes which Krishna used to do. Like it could be spending time with cows and telling some short stories. It could be, a lot of games are there. A lot of wonderful stories are there. A lot of dramas, dance, color, painting, dancing, activity. So much variety and variegatedness is there in bhakti. So it's the expertise of the parents, teachers, etc., to make it bhakti a joyful process. So sukham, chant Hare Krishna and be happy, right? It's not chant Hare Krishna and be miserable. So it should be joyful, as Lakshmi Mataji said, and one will feel the joy of bhakti. Avyayam, it's everlasting. It's not just a small joy and then back to grind. Like people may take vacation, go to Switzerland, go to Hawaii. They may feel a little bit so-called happiness, nice hotel, nice this, nice weather, but again back to struggle, right? That's not avyayam. It ended after a few minutes. And over there also, a lot of people fight in their vacation. A lot of people, we know this recently in US, one couple practically killed each other on their vacation in the national park, right? It's a true story, right? They were supposed to have so-called sukha, but material world is the nature of material world. When there is lack of Krishna consciousness, which is the real source of all happiness, anandamayo bhyasat, we're searching for happiness, sukha, but we are so searching for happiness in the wrong place of this material world, which is termed as dukhalya shashvatam. How can we find it? Until we open the pages of Bhagavad Gita. So this is the main point here. A few lines from the purport. For those who are engaged in devotional service of the Supreme Lord, all sinful reactions, whether fructified, in stock, or in the form of seed gradually, basically any form of sinful reaction, whether they have fructified or manifested into reactions, or they are in stock, in pipeline, or they're in the seed which are not yet grown, right? You're like, devotees give an example like an Amazon order. An Amazon order could be just in your cart, right? You've not yet even placed the order, but you're 90% sure. It could be, okay, the order has been placed, but they have not shipped it. It could be in the shipping. It takes 2 days, 3 days to ship, whatever. It's in the shipping process. It's going to come very soon to you. It has not yet arrived, and then there could be order outside the door. Similarly, the sinful reactions could be in different form, which are already here at the door, in the stock, in the pipeline, in the form of seed. They have not yet even began their journey, but in the form of the seed, they all will gradually vanish. Why? Because we follow the path of Krishna consciousness or devotional service. Very, very strong. Pavitram purifies everyone. There's a very long purport to this verse. But it's really elaborating this in great detail. But the association is really emphasized here. The importance of association, the importance of the 9 limbs of bhakti. And then to conclude, the process of devotional service of Krishna is the king of all education, Raja Vidya, Rajaguyam, all king of all confidential knowledge, purest, and it can be executed joyfully without difficulty. Therefore, one should adopt it. So every intelligent person should adopt it. Otherwise, life is no, life will pass. Any thoughts here in these 2 verses so far? Anyone has any thoughts, additions, questions so far before we move to the next? Okay, let's read one more verse for today and then we'll take a pause. Yes, Puja Mataji, want to read?
Yes, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna, everyone. Text 3. Asradha dhyana purusha dharmasyasya parantapa apraprya nirvatyante martyu samsara vartamani. Translation. Those who are not faithful in this devotional service cannot attain me, O conqueror of enemies. Therefore, they return to the path of birth and death in this material world.
Hare Krishna, thank you. Thank you so much. So if you remember, we discussed 2 things to unlock or the password to this Krishna consciousness here. Anyone remembers the 2 things? Non-envious from this, right? Anusuyava. You should not be envious. In short, you should be humble. And the second is faith. Faith. Because those who don't have faith or ashraddha, whenever we add the word before or here, whichever way you like to see, it becomes opposite. So those people, those purushas or mahilas or devotees in short, non-devotees, Purusha does not just refer to men, it refers to all living beings. Those who don't have faith towards this process, dharma, those who don't have faith in this dharma, O Parantapa, O killer of enemies, referring to Arjuna, aprapya mam nivartante, they will not be able to attain. Aprapya, prapya, prapta means to get. Aprapta is to not get. They won't be able to get what? My kingdom. And what will they get? Nitya, samsara. In this world, they will keep rolling up and down in the wombs of different mothers. Punarapi janaram, punarapi maranam, punarapi jathade, jathade shainam. Sometimes as a cat, sometimes as a dog, sometimes as a bird, sometimes as a deer, sometimes as a fish. Different species they will get. Why? Because of lack of Krishna consciousness. The faithless cannot accomplish devotional service. Bhakti begins with faith. Shraddha. Shraddha, sadhu sangha. The 9 stages of bhakti. The first one is the faith. Adho Shraddha. Without faith, there can be no bhakti. Now, I already clarified, when we talk about faith, it's not we're talking about blind faith, we're talking about reasonable faith. And just think about, are we putting faith in the material world? How many of you think we're putting faith in the material world? Can anyone give an example? Putting faith in the material world? Are we putting? Yes or no? Good. Any examples coming to your mind? How we put faith in the material world? You go to a barber, right? The barber has a sharp blade in his hand, right? Or her hand, whatever. and it's very close to throat, the neck. One wrong move can slit off. People go to restaurants, they eat the food which is on their table. Has anyone seen behind the scene what's going on, what things they have put? Aren't we putting faith in that food? Right? We drive the cars on the roads or the motorbikes, whatever. Aren't we putting faith in the co-drivers or cars, people, that the car behind me won't, hit me, or the truck behind me won't trample over me, right? Aren't we putting faith? Every moment we step out of the home, there are more guns in US than people. Do we know who's carrying a gun and what crazy moment they may have in their mind and what they may do? Aren't we putting faith? We go to a flight, a bus, or train, anything. Do we check the credentials? In the train, do we check, hey, is the driver sitting in the train? Right? Is the driver sleeping? Do we check all that? Does the train have fuel? Does the pilot have license to drive? Do we check all that? We don't check anything. So we are putting faith in every aspect. And it is mentioning, if I have money, then I am secure. Example of faith in the material things. Yeah. Thinking that yes, my money will save me, right? Then the rich people should not have any problem. That's also faith, right? So we're putting faith, dear friends, in everything. We go to an amusement park, so many accidents happen there, so many rides have gone wrong. There's a list of that. So many accidents happen in the flights, in the roads, in trails, everywhere. Buses, we still use those modes of communication. Accidents happen on the road every day. Do we stop driving on the roads? But we're putting faith. So starting from morning to night, whatever things we do, we're putting faith. Isn't it? And that's actually, most of these things are like much more faith than we need in the. We go to a doctor, we're putting faith, right? Any form of medicine, they say, okay, take this medicine. Do we really know what the doctor, we check their certificates and all? We just put faith. So everything we're putting faith. Anywhere we go, we're putting faith. So blind faith is not encouraged, but what Gita is saying, if you don't have faith, ashraddhadana purusha, they will not attain the kingdom of God. So some faith is required. Faith with the practical application. Okay, let's try. And what happens? And the faith will get nourished in good association. We will get what we put in. Very simple. If we put faith, our faith will get strengthened. Hare Krishna, sorry. We will get what we put in. For example, if we put laziness in our life, will we get enthusiasm? Will we get energy? Or will we become more lazy? We'll become more lazy, isn't it? If we try to get up early in the morning, few days it may be difficult, but very soon it will become a habit. We will get what we put in, right? And even in material aspect of life, if we put enthusiasm, if we put positivity in our life, then we will see the life with the lens of positive attitude. If we put negativity in our life, if we are in the company of people who are always negative, then we'll get negativity back. If we put hard work, we will get more results. If we put laziness, we'll get more lazy. If we put, for example, do some exercise, we are using our body to get more body strength, right? So we will get what we put in. In business, people invest money to get more money. So similarly, in spiritual life also, it's very valid. We put good association of devotees, we get more good association of devotees. We hear scriptures for some time, Krishna will arrange that more of that to happen. We put little faith, Krishna will strengthen our faith. We chant few rounds, with sincerity, Krishna will make arrangements, our taste will grow, and we'll be able to chant more, read more, hear more. So we will get whatever we put in. We put more hard work, Krishna will help us to get more time. So in short, we should put our faith, reasonable faith, in association of devotees, in the Bhagavad Gita, which are the words of God, in the process of devotional service, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam. Then we won't have to suffer the pangs of material world. We don't have to come repeated in the cycle of birth and death. So let's read this purport. It's very, very important. That by discharging Krishna consciousness, or by taking this process of bhakti, let's go to the purport so we all can read here. Faith is the most important factor in Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada is writing. It is said that the faith is a complete conviction that simply by serving the Supreme Lord, one can achieve all perfection. And there are so many examples of that. So many great souls. Simply by serving Krishna, like Prahlad Maharaj, Dhruv Maharaj, everything else happened. Everything else will happen at the right place. Like watering the root of the tree, satisfy all the twigs, branches. We don't feed our hands separately, our head separately. We put the food in the belly through the medium of the mouth, and all the senses are satisfied. Right? Similarly, all the demigods, all the other living entities will be satisfied. How? When we serve Krishna. This is the conclusion of Bhagavad Gita. So let's see this process. Anyone wants to read this? We'll just read this purport and find out. Where's Marka? Chance wants to read. Rashmi Mataji, you want to read? Now, from this point, now the development. Yeah, if you could unmute, please.
Just 1 minute. Now which
Yeah.
which one?
Yes. Now the development. It's the third paragraph in the purport, 9.3.
9.3. Oh yeah. Sorry. Okay. Now the development of the feet is the progress. Sorry. Yeah. Now the development of that faith is the process of Krishna consciousness. There are 3 divisions of Krishna consciousness. There are 3 divisions of Krishna conscious men, and the third class are those who have no faith. Even if they are officially engaged in devotional service, they cannot achieve the highest perfection stage. Most probably, they will slip. After some time, they may become engaged, but because they haven't complete conviction and faith, it is very difficult for them to continue in Krishna consciousness. We have practical experience in discharging our missionary activities that some people come and apply themselves to Krishna consciousness with our hidden motives. And as soon as they are economically a little well situated, they give up this process and take to their old ways again. It's only by faith that one can advance in Krishna consciousness. As far as the development of faith is concerned, one who is well versed in the literatures of devotional service and has attained the stage of firm faith is called a first class person in Krishna consciousness. And in the second class are those who are not very advanced in understanding the devotional scriptures, but who automatically can have firm faith that Krishna bhakti or service to Krishna is the best course, and so in good faith have taken it up. Thus, they are superior to the third class, who have neither perfect knowledge of the scriptures nor good faith. but but by association and simplicity are trying to follow. The third class person in Krishna consciousness may fall down, but when one is in the second class, he does not fall down. And for the first class person in Krishna consciousness, there's no chance of falling down. One in the first class will surely make progress and achieve the results at the end. As far as the third class person in Krishna consciousness is concerned, although he has faith in the conviction that devotional service to Krishna is very good, he has not yet gained adequate knowledge of Krishna through the scriptures like Srimad Bhagavatam and Bhagavad Gita. Sometimes these third class persons in Krishna consciousness have some tendency toward karma yoga and yajna yoga, and sometimes they are disturbed. But as soon as the infection of karma yoga or jnana yoga is vanquished, they become second class or first class persons in Krishna consciousness. Faith in Krishna is also divided into 3 stages and described in Srimad Bhagavatam. First class attachment, second class attachment, and third class attachment are also explained in Srimad Bhagavatam in the 11th canto. Those who have no faith even after hearing about Krishna and the excellence of devotional service, who think that it is simply eulogy, find the path very difficult, even if they are supposedly engaged in devotional service. For them, there is very little hope of gaining perfection. Thus, faith is very important in the discharge of devotional service. Hare Krishna, Jai Shri Krishna, Prabhuji. Very beautiful.
Hare Krishna, thank you so much, Srimataji, for reading this. So this is a very, very nice verse I like about faith, because without faith, there is no hope in bhakti. As Prabhupada is writing here, that is the most important factor. Faith in the process, faith in Krishna, faith in devotees, faith in Guru, faith also in that I will, there was a prayer like, we shall overcome one day, right? Deep in my heart, I do believe that we shall overcome one day. That's also faith. It's a very nice prayer. I just remember in school days we had that. Our Grace Ananta Mataji, Prabhupada disciple, Prabhupada was giving a class in Chicago, and it was quite heavy, like most of the classes. And then she was feeling in the heart, like, oh, this is too much. She was feeling hopeless. Oh, that this is too much. And Prabhupada said suddenly, we should never feel hopeless in spiritual life. As if Prabhupada read her mind. And it's good to feel helpless, that I cannot overcome on my own. But when I have Guru and Krishna and devotees with me, that yes, I can cross the unsurmountable. This is only Radhanath Swami Maharaj mentions in the Journey Home. Faith in the divine can make one surpass unsurmountable obstacles. So we should not feel that, okay, it's very difficult, how will it happen? One of the qualities of devotees is Asha Bandha. That they have this strong hope against hope, right? Asha Bandha, that yes, I may have so many shortcomings, but I will continue to do the process of bhakti to the best of my abilities. Yes, I will fall down, but I'll not give up. I'll continue. I'll take more association of advanced souls, those who have more advanced faith. Even if my faith is third class at this point, the third class faith, or the people who have third class faith, is basically referred here as the faith with hidden agendas, right? Like economic development, and maybe getting something opposite sex, or something like if I practice Krishna consciousness, maybe I'll get a better wife, maybe I'll get a better husband, maybe I'll get a better job, maybe I'll get a better home. The agenda is not to get Krishna, but to get these material gains. And yes, one may get those things, but what will happen if the faith has not been nourished until then, and one has not come to a higher level of faith? One will give up bhakti. One will go back to the old habits. Hmm. That's third class faith with hidden agendas. Hmm. And the second class is about Krishna bhakti, that those who do perform this bhakti, that they may not be fully aware of the ins and outs of the scripture, right? But they have faith that, yes, I just need to carry this process sincerely, and everything will happen what is supposed to happen. All the right outcomes will manifest with time. And the topmost is those who are very, very well versed, not just theoretically, but by their example, the first class faith. Those who can instill faith in others also by their words, by their example, by their habits, by their character. Those who are like living Bhagavad Gita, living Bhagavatam. They're also called Bhagavatam, not just the book Bhagavatam, they are the walking Bhagavatam. They are the walking tirthas, tirtham kurvanti tirtham. So wherever they go, they create faith, they create more faith towards and they are able to rekindle or uproot the doubts. The doubts are like demons which inhibit our faith, right? So therefore, in this especially day and age, we should be very careful, because our faith, we can judge where we stand. Maybe in the third class, maybe in the second class. If we let the doubts of demons come, or the demons of doubts come, our faith may be shattered. So we should be very careful in our sangha. Whom are we taking association of? And if we're taking association of wrong people, those who have no faith or those who are envious of God, then they will create doubts, and they will not let our faith strengthen. So we should be very, very careful. Rather, we should, we should take more association of the people who have advanced faith. Shraddha Shabde Vishwas Kore Sudrida Nishchay Krishna Bhakti Kaila Sarva Karma Krita Hoy. Those whose faith is stronger. Like a match of kabaddi. Kabaddi, what do you call, like kabaddi or tug of war? Something like that. Two teams are there. So if we go into the wrong territory, they are going to pull us. They're going to pull us and grab. If we don't have the strength, a very, very powerful, let's say, champion who has very advanced faith can bring all of them to this side, right? So we have to know where my, where my strengths and weaknesses are. So one's own SWOT analysis: strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats. So what are the threats to my Krishna consciousness? What is my strength? What is my weakness? So I should not get entrapped in the bad association and weaken my faith, especially in this day and age. A lot of things are spoken on internet. Very, very important. A lot of things are spoken on internet. Anyone can write anything, anyone can make any video, anyone can post anything without any logic or substance, without any proofs, and because that's what he or she may feel like. And majority of the people like gossip. Majority of the people like gossip. So those videos also get a lot of attention, because people, what's that? Hogs wander where saints, something like that. That devotees don't go in places where the evil-minded go, right? So hogs go in stool, but the sages don't go there. The Hamsas don't go there. But the majority of the population has that mentality to dwell on others' shortcomings, to dwell on and just create gossip out of it. People like that, politics, news, media, this, that, which we should be very careful. Otherwise, it will create a impediment or roadblock on our faith or shraddha of bhakti. And it will trample our bhakti lata beach. So we have to guard it nicely with good association, put a fence around with good association, and not let any bad content come in, the filters. And by reading Bhagavad Gita, association, Bhagavatam, our faith will certainly get strengthened. So this is all about faith. So we discussed today mainly faith and non-enviousness are the keys to open the doors to Krishna consciousness, are the keys to open this devotional service, are the keys to unlock. This is a password, right? This is an open password. Like we discussed, if something is materially very confidential, like a bank account, and we don't openly distribute in the public. So the most confidential knowledge of Bhagavad Gita can be opened by the passwords of faith, Shraddha, and being non-envious or humble and grateful. So I'll pause here. This is about the K. The first three verses talk about the K, which is the king of all knowledge and king of all the most confidential knowledge. Let's take some thoughts, some comments, any additions you have, corrections, feel free. We have 5-10 minutes for that. If anyone wants to share anything, please feel free. Thank you for your wonderful association and giving this opportunity to read here together. Anyone wants to add any comments, any take-home messages, anything struck you, anything you want to correct? Please feel free. Yes, Puja Mataji, please tell at least one thing, which is your take-home message. If everyone can just tell 1 or 2 lines, that would be great.
I understood from this class keys to KC Krishna consciousness, that is faith and non-envious nature.
Oh, that's excellent. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Anyone else wants to add or share more thoughts? Thank you, Nandini Mataji, for joining. We're so blessed to have your association.
Thank you,
Please,
Prabhu.
please feel
I'm so
free to.
grateful to you for doing this class. As soon as I saw new chapter beginning, I was so eager to come. But temple services held me up and I missed first a little bit. But I appreciate your preparedness, your thorough involvement with everybody, how much you care and share. And if ever I can duplicate what you're doing, my life will be successful. Even for one class. I really appreciate this, Prabhu. So grateful.
Grateful for your association, blessings. You're always absorbed in Prabhupada's books. Even your background photo is so nice. Prabhupada and his books. So this is real. It's very, very pleasing to Prabhupada. Thank you. Okay, anyone else has any other thoughts, additions, take homes? Avinash ji, thank you for joining and to share some thoughts. Anything struck you?
Yes, sir, Prabhuji. Just the part which struck me was the envious. We should never be envious of Lord Krishna, and we should always keep the faith in Him. Everything will be good in our life then.
Nice. Very nice point. It reminds me of the story of Duryodhana. Duryodhana, Shakuni, etc. See, Krishna was also in front of them. But They didn't have the eyes to see, right? So the Lord was there. The Lord showed the Virat Rupa, but they didn't have the eyes to see. So similarly, why? Because they didn't have the heart. We don't see just from the eyes, we see from the heart. Premanjachurita, the heart of devotion is required to open Bhagavad Gita. The heart of faith is required. So if we don't have faith towards the Lord, if we don't have respect towards devotees, towards Guru, then as we discussed in the example, knowledge will not flow. The flow happens where there is humility, where there is eagerness to receive it, right? So Duryodhana, Shishupal, Dantavakra, all these personalities, they were envious of the Lord and his devotees. They could not get the advantage which they could have received potentially. Why? Because of their attitude. Prabhupada mentions attitude. The advancement in Krishna consciousness depends on this attitude. And what is that attitude? The attitude of faith, the attitude of gratitude, the attitude of being non-envious, being humble. All this attitude will make us help make spiritual progress. So thank you for that wonderful comment. Any one last comment before we end? How about Anita Mataji? आपका क्या विचार है?
Prabhuji, can I say something, Prabhuji?
Yeah, for your position too, please.
Prabhuji, also, I could not join since beginning, but I was just doing my daily sadhana. The association, Prabhuji, is very important. In my experience, when the bhakti, sometimes it fluctuates depending on the engagement we have in our material life. Sometimes it gets too much, sometimes it becomes okay. So in that time when we have so much demand from the material world in terms of the work requirement and other stuff, then your bhakti tends to go a little bit down. But I have seen in my experience that if we are associated with a high-class devotee, first-class devotee or second-class devotees, then actually you have a higher chances to bounce back. It's like, association makes us like, if I can give you an analogy, like a ball of a rubber, not the ball of a glass. Like if you're not in a good association, then you become like a glass ball, and if you shatter out, you break down. But if you are in a good association, then you bounce back like a rubber ball.
Excellent. Oh, this is
Hare
excellent.
Krishna.
Very nice. Someone asked, I think, Balkrishna Maharaj or some senior Vaishnava, what is more important, chanting or association? Any thoughts?
I think the both are
More
they have
important is you can pick one.
Yeah.
If you have to pick one of the two, what is more important?
I would say association, Prabhuji, because association will lead to chanting.
That's excellent. See, the example, given in this connection is very, very important. And I'll demonstrate that with a kind of a practical thing. Right? You see this fan moving, right? You see this fan moving? This fan is moving. Now I turn off the switch. Someone's fan is moving, that means they're doing bhakti nicely. Chal raha hai, mala bhi chal raha hai, they're reading scriptures. But association nahi kar rahe. They're not doing association. The power plug off ho gaya, button that's switched off. So very soon as this fan is dwindling down, right, their so-called sadhana, their so-called reading, hearing, everything will dwindle. It won't be seen in one day. As the button is off for like last few seconds, but it will gradually, it may take few weeks, few months. They have stopped association with devotees. They think, I can do on my own. I don't need devotees. I'm chanting here what Prabhupada is saying. I'm reading more Prabhupada's books. I'm following the four regulative principles. I'm offering bhoga also. I'm doing pretty much, but the A of association is missing. So very soon, like this fan is almost coming to rest, their bhakti will फिर धीरे धीरे कम होगा. Why need 16 rounds? Even 5 is good. Even 4 is good. Ultimately, you have to chant Krishna's name. Even 1 is also fine. So धीरे धीरे कम हो जाएगा. धीरे धीरे करके, and then maybe sometimes I can disregard this principle. Most of the times I follow. Sometimes I can ignore this. As I say, gradually, this because the power is off. Association is one which connects and gives the current going. So, as you rightly mentioned, if association is there, for time being, let's say someone's chanting stopped or thora low aa gaya, but if that person is cognizant, कि भाई मेरा I'm missing something important in my life, let me try to get back. And if he keeps the flow of Krishna consciousness through the medium of association going, that person will very soon bounce back. अगर अच्छा association नहीं छोड़ा, otherwise if association छोड़ दिया, then the fan will stop, the flow of bhakti will stop. So therefore, association is the most important. And how we take association is also very important. We can be in the company of devotees, so-called devotees, and talk all the worldly things and not Krishna consciousness, right? So association does not just mean physical proximity, right? One could be in the company of 100 devotees, but still not have one devotee to share the heart or share confidential, like how I can really make advancement, what I'm struggling with, what I need to do, what I should do, what are my strengths, weaknesses. So yes, association is the most important. Prabhupada emphasized in all these 3 purports actually, association. So thank you, Prabhu, for sharing that point. Thank you. Excellent.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. As Nand Kishori Mataji mentioned, your dedication, your preparation, I think anyone on this platform, we will not be able to match it, but we appreciate, Prabhuji, everything that you do for us.
Hare Krishna. Please bless us.
Hare
So
Krishna.
we are just trying what we want to see. This just copy paste and repeating like a parrot. So nothing is mine. It all belongs to devotees and Prabhupada and all the Guru Varga. So thank you. Yes, Anita Mataji, you were saying something. Sorry.
Yes, Hare Krishna Prabhuji. First of all, thank you so much. I think it's very difficult to express in words the gratitude towards you, the kind of, the way you have inspired us. It's very difficult to express. So the takeaway for me from today's class is how to develop faith more and more in Krishna, that we all should try. I think the first part of the password was non-envious towards Krishna. That I think we have already overcome. I mean, at least I'll talk about myself. But then this faith part, I think we still have to work more, how we can develop more and more faith. So that's what I'm going to, try more with your blessings and, good association. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Very well. Thank you. Thank you so much. Very nice. Yes, that's the secret to develop faith, to be in the association of those who have that faith. And to continue reading, hearing, chanting, more faith will come. What we put, what we get. Very simple. So thank you. So I know it's time, but again, my deepest gratitude to all of you for taking out your valuable time and to give your wonderful association. So again, as I mentioned in the beginning, today is the day of Christmas, and Christmas really signifies the sacrifice of Lord Jesus to share the message of God. So we can, if you really want to celebrate Christmas, is basically to appreciate that sacrifice which all our Guru Varga has taken, like what Prabhupada has taken, what Lord Chaitanya has taken to give us this Krishna consciousness. And if we really feel so, then we will want to do something to express our gratitude for what we have received. And the best way to do that is to share that message with others as well. to the best of our abilities, through books, through prasadam, through kirtan, through different ways we can do. Thank you for your association. Thank you for this opportunity. Bhagavad Gita Upanishad ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Samaveta Gaur Bhaktan ki jai. Mancha kalpatarubhyascha kripasindubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namo. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.